Robert Kiyosaki said that inflation is being talked about. He thinks that we are in a depression right now and that it will be the worst depression ever. Because the Fed can't just keep making money and hope that the economy stays strong. Because the shadow banking system, also called the euro dollar system, is 1,000 times bigger than the Fed. So now we are going to go down no matter what happens. Robert Kiyosaki said that he wants to be wrong. We're gonna go bankrupt. And most likely, there will be a new conference like the Louvre card or the Smithsonian Accord, and the rules will be changed again. But in the meantime, if you and he have dollars, you could be in a lot of trouble. Things are getting worse. CalPERS is a huge retirement fund. He thinks that the biggest pension fund in the US is about to run out of money. That means that firefighters, teachers, and people who work for the government are all done. They will learn that the government messed them over. They thought that their pension would be there, but it won't be. The world's pensions are all about to cost the biggest bust in history. They are interested in everything, so it is a big market. They like buildings, REITs, bonds, and all this other stuff. Pensions are all around us. This is the most important show to watch if you are a baby boomer or if your parent is a baby boomer. Robert Kiyosaki is concerned that the American empire is coming to an end, and the reason for this is fairly straightforward. Our Federal Reserve Bank, our Treasury, and our government have messed up the value of the US dollar to such an extent that they need to figure out a method to keep people happy. Because of this, they want to simply print money, which they are already doing. Nevertheless, it is important to keep in mind that money is created through production. And when we pay individuals not to produce, what we are doing is paying them not to rebel against our system. And this is exactly what took place in the age of the Romans. What ultimately led to the collapse of the Roman Empire was the devaluation of Rome's coinage by its rulers. They were filling them with silver and gold coins, which meant that they were taking the extra funds and melting them. They had just started taxing workers when they started fighting wars, which is ironic given that we are still fighting wars. And during Roman times, the worker was a farmer. Because of this, it claims that the end of the American Empire is coming. And the reason for this is that our money is corrupted. Without a doubt, he would take the money at this time. You are all aware of the topic at hand. Simply put, you should avoid engaging in conflict with either the government, the Fed, or politics. Robert Kiyosaki has said that he is willing to accept monetary compensation of any kind. For instance, $1,000 has been offered to him. However, he would change it into either gold, silver, or cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin. Getting back to the question of what can be done, he tells his personal tale about how his father lost his pension because he campaigned for governor as a Republican. His father was a poor man at the time. He was at a loss for what action to take. It wasn't until he was 50 years old that he realized his PhD had been completely useless to him. Consequently, this is one of the reasons why Robert was motivated to create his book, which is titled Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert's upsetting his family to such a degree. His father, who was 50 at the time, and he was not familiar with the concept of a financial statement. Robert Kiyosaki is said to have said that he has control over himself, but Joe Biden does not. He had no idea things would get to be this hard, so things are a lot worse than he had thought all along. So it's possible that things will get even worse, but he's ready for it. If you know what he is talking about, you are not hiding in a bunker. If we teach capitalism at home, it could be an alternative to the communist ideas that are taught in schools. And as you can see, he learned about capitalism at home, not at school. Now, the media is all on the bad side. He is fighting for capitalism because freedom is what it is all about. If you want to be a communist, that's fine, but don't take away his freedom. It is what the Fed is doing. They were powerless. It is a shadow of the European shadow bank system. It has more power, but the Fed is trying to get us to believe that prices are going up. We're really in a depression, so it's true. He talks about gold, silver, and Bitcoin, but not because he is a Bitcoin fan. He just doesn't believe in the Federal Reserve, the Treasury, or Wall Street. He buys things that are not part of their system. He thinks people should pay attention, which is why he loves YouTube. He gets real teachers there. He wants people to see a business because this is where the dollar is going in the future. If you get that, you'll know why people have been getting paid not to work, so that the economy doesn't fall apart and they just printed $10 trillion. Jay Powell of the Fed is trying to make the yield curve go up, but as most of you know, the real yield curve is a euro-dollar curve. It is not the Fed curve, and the dollar-euro curve turned upside down. Every time that has happened, something bad has happened. So that's why he thinks the Fed is dead. And recently, the euro-dollar yield curve inverter happened again. And he told me while standing next to my friend Jim that the next one will be the biggest of all. Now, some people have good news, but the baby boomers who are starting to retire have bad news. So if you're a stock market person and you count on the stock market to keep you alive, and if you are 65 and you're going to live to be 85, you might be in a lot of trouble. Even though Robert is not a communist, it was predicted in this book, which is called the Communist Manifesto. Marx was a fool, but he was also smart. This book only has 50 pages. He knew everything that was going to happen in America, so he said that the boomers would fail, which is exactly what is happening now. Thus, Marx lamented that poverty would lead to the extinction of 50% of the people under capitalism. However, his argument is that you must be vigilant. There is no response. Simply pay attention. And the reason he recommends investing in gold, silver, and Bitcoin is that he has more faith in Bitcoin than in Biden. Robert Kiyosaki doesn't trust the dollar. He has no faith in the Treasury or the Federal Reserve. And we cannot manage the exterior very well, but we can control our own selves. This includes our individual thoughts, emotions, spirituality, and physicality. We can control ourselves. Consequently, he stated that a leader is within him. He did not believe he would obtain this, but the question is, what is happening within? Therefore, education is essential. You must take care of yourself internally. Examining this case, we may determine why stocks are superior to real estate. Say he purchases Amazon or Apple. Say it's $100. If it falls down, he can leave quickly. It is known as liquidity. However, the reality is that real estate is not liquid. Therefore, if you purchase at the peak of a market, you are the captain of the Titanic. You will go down with it because you cannot escape. Thus, we refer to this as liquidity. It involves financial literacy. He tells Americans that the United States was founded as a tax-free nation. How do the wealthy truly become wealthy? Using debt and paying no taxes? Do you believe Trump to pay taxes? Of course not. Robert Kiyosaki is using a 100% debt because every time he takes out a loan, new money is made. So, the government gives him tax breaks because he uses debt. If you can figure that out, they give him tax breaks every time he borrows $30 million for a piece of property in Austin, Texas. Because he is using debt, and that's why it is important to have this financial statement. So when he meets with the banker and shows him all these properties, he doesn't have anything bad to say about them. They have money coming in, and more money will be given to him. If you understand infinity, you don't need money. It is a whole new way to think about being rich. So he learned that from his poor father. Everyone tells him he can't afford it. The point is that we all depend on each other in this world. As the world's currency, we are in a shadow banking system that has more power than the Fed or an essential bank. So, he backs Bitcoin or the crypto process because the Fed, Treasury, and Wall Street no longer have any power. And you should get to the power as soon as possible. The power is set up here. Don't be an easy target. Bitcoin is money that belongs to people, and you can't make it anymore. So some people mess it up as the economy gets worse because the Fed and PhDs run the country badly. If you can look elsewhere and buy gold, silver, or Bitcoin, which are all people's money, now is a great time to do so. What do you think of what Robert Kiyosaki said? Did it make you think differently about anything? Do you think this will help you manage your investments when it comes to money? Write a comment and tell us what you think. We love to hear from you.